My name is Katie Scoggin. I am a sophomore currently. I'm a political science major with minors in legal studies and Spanish. And I was born in another country. I was born in China, adopted, and I've lived here in Anchorage ever since I was about a year old.
And again, my name is Shannon Tada. I am also a sophomore and a political science major. My minors are in history and legal studies. I was born in the Philippines, but I've called Alaska home since I was 5.
While I have met most of the members of USUA since I joined last fall, Shannon, I've actually known since middle school. As we stated, we're lifelong Alaskans. So we actually went to middle school and high school together.
Yeah, I mean, Katie and I have always been involved in like Katie said, advocacy and being engaged with the community since we were kids. Katie is someone who does like open mics or opening shows for certain events. I participate in school board meetings and advocacy through testimony. So I mean, we're pretty engaged, even with like political campaigns. We try to stay on top of things because staying engaged is one of the foundations of our country. It's a very important, like, we have to be informed citizens.
What do you guys hope to accomplish in your respective roles?
Advocacy, affordability, and action. So, in regards to advocacy, as we stated before, just speaking on behalf of the student body, really listening to them, listening to their concerns, their wants and needs, trying to meet those, not being afraid to speak up to whoever we need to accomplish those goals. It's nothing new to us to, use our voices. And then affordability, making sure that we keep, tuition rates low. Um, really just in that capacity, making sure that students from all different walks of life are able to have the college experience that they deserve. And then with action, just being proactive of what we preach and making sure that we're following through with our words.
Right, and just to add a little bit more on that, right? Like on under advocacy, it's always about not being afraid to raise a voice to students' concerns, whether it be at the local level, the administrative level, the statewide, federal. We are not going to be afraid to stand up to someone or speak to and reach out to someone if it's a concern that students have, right? And recognizing under affordability, like Katie said, it's not just about tuition, it's all constituent parts of higher education, right? We're talking about textbook costs, we're talking about like student fees. Like, we don't think that you have to be wealthy to get a good education. And that's one of the primary benefits of staying in the UA system, and namely UAA, is because we are helping our students keep things at a low cost. And we want to continue that. Like just this past semester, we worked with Chancellor Parnell and advocated to the board, hey, UAA students don't need a raise in tuition costs. And under active, we want to be a proactive student government. We don't want to wait until something becomes a problem to raise a voice to it. And we don't want to wait till someone introduces something to advocate for it. We want to be at the forefront for it. We want to be the one saying, hey, this needs to be done. We want this to be accomplished. So help us get this passed through the legislature, help us get this passed through the assembly, stuff like that. That's what we are hoping to bring to UAA as president and vice president.
In my opinion, I think that there's a lack of community connectedness between everyone within UAA, and I think everyone feels that. And so that's my large goal is like, as chief activities officer right now of USUAA, I have facilitated like the Thanksgiving feast for the UAA community, which was in the fall, like a winter gear drive, um, candygrams, just things like that to get people more connected and involved, and really just see how great UAA is and the things that can be offered if we do take that step.
Do you believe that it's possible to create one cohesive university identity, even with the student body split between, physical in-person presence here on campus, as well as that virtual distanced, I guess, more nebulous connection?
Well, short answer, yes. I think that we are able to create that that singular cohesive identity of what it means to be a Seawolf. Because we also recognize that there are UAA satellite campuses, and like for example the Mat-Su campus, and that Anchorage is the major campus, but like even with the concerns that the people have still about COVID and the determination to go back to some form of new normal, or go into a new normal rather, I do think that there is a way to do that, because we see that the students who are a lot more cautious about COVID are opening up to coming back into campus, right? And I think with this shift into in-person classes in the fall, obviously contingent upon the situation in COVID then too, I think that we will see a lot more student engagement, and we will return to some form of normal where we are more prepared to jump back to some form of hybrid if it comes to it. But I think that identity remains. We Seawolves, we're still who we are from pre-COVID, and we will still be who we are after COVID, right? COVID is going away. We see that people are opening back up, both in a literal and in another sense too. We are opening back up our doors to people. We're opening up ourselves to other people. So I do see that we will be able to return to some form of normal and be the Seawolf community that we once was.
But what makes the two of you the right choice to lead and represent the entire student body for the next year?
Well, on that, why were you uniquely qualified? I think there's two points to this. I believe that Katie has the connections on campus itself, the reachability and just the down-to-earth personality that she has, where you can walk up to her, she'll know the answer. She'll know someone who can fix your problem. And I think what I balance off on the ticket is the connections statewide, right? We're the only ticket who's endorsed by other student leaders in UAF, or student leaders up in Kuskokwim and Kodiak. Like, we have the connection statewide already. And I think that's where we kind of balance each other off. Katie has a huge presence on campus, and that connectedness, with professors, with the Peer Health and Counseling Center, Model United Nations here on campus, and the Political Science Department. And I bring the aspect where we have the connections statewide. We have the connections with regents. We have the connections with university administration, President Pitney, Vice President Layer, Vice President Rizek. Those individuals, they know who we are, right? It's not a new conversation where, hey, I'm trying to do this. It's, hi, it's nice to see you again. I want to see this accomplished. How can we work on this together? And so I think that's where we kind of balance each other off, and why this ticket is uniquely qualified and is the ticket for UAA.
Yeah, I mean, Shannon worded it perfectly. But just to kind of reiterate, I do have quite a presence on UAA campus, just being very involved with residential campus, and then also Greek life. So I know lots of the clubs and organizations, the Student Health and Counseling Center, really, you name it. I really enjoy getting to know new people. I'm never afraid to say hi to someone. I know Sam in the student union subway. And then with Shannon and his relationships with student governance leaders within the UA system, UAF, UAS. So it's definitely it's a contrast, and it fits really well.